Hello, my name is Jay Vaz, and you're watching the Dream Factory podcast.
He was 27. His title had been stripped from him back in 1967, and he was just looking to fight.
Convicted for draft evasion, threatened with imprisonment, Muhammad Ali is banned from fighting in all 50 states. But in Atlanta, Georgia, in October of 1970, that all changed. Matched against the top contender for the boxing crown, Jerry Quarry, the greatest, is back.
I just knew it would happen eventually. I just was hoping it would happen before they come grab him to put him in jail.
The build-up to the fight was one of just exceptional enthusiasm.
Reading the papers was exciting because you heard somebody's view on this is going to happen. Quarry's going to win because, and then somebody else says no, Ali's going to win because.
The night of the match was electrifying.
It was, as one observer called it, the largest display of black wealth in history in a single location up until that point.
Major event took place in our city. I, as mayor, knew that it was significant, that this was very meaningful to our city in many ways.
And what were their challenges? The significance of the fight and the incredible after-party that never happened. Ali's comeback.
Hello, my name is Daoud and welcome to the Dream Factory podcast. And we are honored to be here with Mr. David Buchanan. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good, brother.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So how did you become involved with Ali's comeback, and how did you meet Art?
I met Art through a mutual friend. His name is Jason Lauder. Shout out to Jason. Ever since then, we just been really cool. He invited me over to read the script that you guys were working on, Spirit. And ever since then, we just, talk, asking me what I'm working on. Hey, read this, read that. And then one day, Art called me up just out of the blue. Hey, I need your help with something. He gave me a script, and that was pretty much it. And he gave me some dates, told me what type of wardrobe to bring. And, I had to shave all this sexiness and stuff, I was a little irritated, what I'm saying? I had to save off all this right here. But I did it because I realized that it was for a bigger cause. And I'm just joking about the beer reference. But no, I'm not even going to lie to you, I was very nervous about playing Ali. Didn't know too much about Senator Johnson at the time, but Ali, that's huge. That's like me auditioning to try to play God, in my eyes, because I know how much Ali means to people and meant to people, that's not a role you want to play around with. So whatever I needed to do to fulfill Art's vision, I didn't really care. It was like, no, this is what I got to do. So I had no issue with shaving and showing up to set on the days that he needed me. Whatever he asked me to do, I would do it. So just playing that role, like it was to me it's huge. Ali means a lot to a lot of people.
And there's something, because you not only got to play Ali, you got to play Senator Leroy Johnson, two significant points in this story and in pretty much history.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I didn't really know who Mr. Leroy Johnson was. God rest his soul. I learned that he was the first black senator in over 100 years. Shame on you, Georgia.
Yes.
He was pivotal in getting Ali back into the ring. To me, he's like a huge linchpin. If he didn't have him kind of like vouching for him, he would not have gotten back in that ring. But I also learned that he went to the then mayor at the time, Sam Massell, and literally walked into his office and was like, "Hey, I have to do something." You know, it was another gentleman that he spoke to who was like a segregationist. I don't remember his name. He was very Lester
Maddox.
Lester Maddox.
Exactly.
Yeah, that guy's probably, somewhere very hot right about now.
Very true.
Not gonna get into that.
Yes, and you as Senator Leroy Johnson, like I know through your research and from going from the script, you had to face with convincing Sam Massell and then
Lester Maddox.
And Lester Maddox.
That wasn't easy.
So you're doing a lot of work. You're doing like double, triple time as an actor within this documentary.
Because it's like with Lester Maddox, you know that this person that's sitting across from you doesn't really care for you or anybody else that looks like you. With Sam, it was a little bit easier. I don't know what type of relationship or rapport they had initially, but it just seems like he was a little bit more, I guess, pliable or understanding of the situation. And he just said, "Okay, yeah, you got my blessing." But it was really Lester Maddox. And I completely forgot about that. Like Lester Maddox was like up front, like courtside seat races.
Exactly.
He never hid that.
Card-carrying member of the Ku Klux Klan, a member of the White Citizens Council, and he was definitely not about trying to have Ali come in there. And
pretty much everything racist, he was a part of, my brother.
Yeah, and Leroy Johnson stood up to him. And you played that very role of how significantly he used his influence and cunning to be able to convince both of them to be able to do that. And go through a whole lot of stress and strain to get it done.
Yeah, he probably thought, well, who is this Negro coming in my office challenging my, paper towel authority? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was probably thought that, like, how dare you? But what he doesn't know is that I believe he was also an attorney, right?
Yes.
Leroy Johnson. So, I mean, come on, man. When you know the law, and you have to also think about when Mr. Johnson is going to court to represent his clients, his oratory skills have to be on point. So when you're going to go have a conversation with the devil, you can't come straight forward. There's a little bit of, serpentine type moves that you got to kind of come with, to kind of say, okay, well, I don't really think I'm gonna grease your palms, but I'm gonna keep coming at you. Like, this is not gonna be the first time I'm gonna come at you. There's gonna be several times where I'm gonna talk to you. Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about it.
And I think that really comes in. It's like, and you play it very well in the film, where Leroy Johnson knows what happened with Lester Maddox's son.
Yes, he got into an accident or something like that.
Because Lester Maddox's son was caught stealing hubcaps, and the judge let him off by saying every man deserves a second chance.
What about Ali?
And then Leroy used that same terminology and said every man deserves a second chance. And then Lennox had to open up, saying, "Yeah, I guess so."
Yeah, you do, because you're a little crackhead son. Stealing hubcaps. Who steals hubcaps? Who does that? I hope you guys don't do that. Because if you do, I'm gonna find you. I have a special skill set. All right, back to the interview.
Were there certain things that you didn't know about Ali that you learned from the role, and was there something specific that stood out about Leroy Johnson that you learned from playing him?
He marched into the mayor at the time. I think his name was Sam Massell or something like that. Walked into his office and really was like, "You're gonna talk to me, one way or another. We're gonna get something done." So I think in order to really write your name in history, you really need to be very, very, very bold. You can't really, sometimes even putting your life on the line, you just throw caution to the wind and you just do what you have to do. With Ali, I mean, we're talking 60s and 70s where you still had strange fruit. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, that's from this generation, you're talking about black men and black women literally swinging from trees. Like, they could have killed him at any point in time. So for him to lose his belt, lose his money, and also, like, go to jail. Didn't he go to jail? He went to jail because he didn't want to go into the draft. I know they drafted him. But that's serious.
I believe he was threatened to go to jail, and that's why he was going up for his trial.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
at that time.
correct
Yeah.
me. Thank you for correcting me.
He was facing jail
Yeah,
time though.
well, I stand corrected there. But even like that was like that's scary. That's that's very, very nerve wracking. It's not like he could say, "Well, I gave up my belt. And I'm gonna go out here and do Uber and Lyft or Postmates." You know what I'm saying?
True.
It's like, what else did you have back then? Like, what else did you really have back then? Like, so the fact that he gave that up, and the fact that Art said, "Hey, I want you to play that role," that's huge. Like, I don't think any actor, if you're playing, like you're doing a biopic or something like that of someone who was a civil rights leader, that's a role you don't take lightly. There's some spirit channeling, in my opinion, that you have to do. Like, I prayed, like I had to literally pray to get into the mindset of like what, just what was this man going through? Because I know there were times where I didn't have a job, when I lost my job, and I have kids. So it's like, well, how do you deal with that? Hustle through it. But this is back then. So it's just,
And to add on to what you're speaking about, you're talking about two individuals, the main subject being Ali, and how his life was being threatened, but also Leroy Johnson's life was being threatened. So you're dealing with two individuals that had these significant pressures on them, but they were able to see through their vision and through their work of being able to get through, to work for doing the right cause, and to work for their families. And as you spoke about, the stakes were so much higher at that time. There weren't other economic opportunities really at that point, and at any time in your life you could end up being strange fruit at some point.
You have to have a still resolve, a really, really strong resolve.
Very true. Okay, and so you were present at the premiere at the Atlanta History Center. Okay,
I was.
Yeah, where they showed Ali's comeback. Tell me about that experience, and how was it seeing yourself seeing the movie itself, and then seeing yourself in those two different roles?
To see the film was good. I enjoyed the interviews. I enjoyed how it was produced. I thought it was edited to perfection, honestly. Shout out to the editor. Thought it was really done very well. Seeing myself up there, I got goosebumps. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not, actors, we want to see ourselves and stuff like that. And, it's a good feeling to see how the film came across to people. People appreciated my work, things like that. Keep it, be humble. Let me say that.
Well, I can say from the reactions that people had, and from myself viewing, you definitely achieved it in both of those roles. So props to you on that part.
Appreciate you.
Definitely. And what facts or information did you learn from working on Ali's comeback? Was there something else that was, okay, I didn't know that, or what did you find out from watching the film and that informed you differently than what you heard about it? Yes.
The night that people got robbed. Yes, give it up. Ante up. I didn't know about that. I did not know about that until I actually watched the film. That was very interesting.
Yeah, that was a very interesting part, because I had heard about it, and I know there's it hasn't really been confirmed, but I heard that was an inspiration for, I think it was Uptown Saturday Night, where they had the robbery after this certain event, where everyone was taken up. Yeah, the part where the robbers come in, take everybody's jewels, they have to strip down. And yeah, how we show it inside the film is very interesting. I mean, it was that was in the research. It was very informative.
Did they catch those guys?
Some, to my understanding. Some. I was like, I think not everyone who was involved was, but I think within a year later, as Pee Wee Kirkland, when we interviewed Pee Wee Kirkland, where he was speaking about it, who's in the film, he spoke about how the underworld deals with their own in a certain way. And my understanding from the articles we saw is that certain people who were involved suddenly ended up being deceased in numerous ways. Yes.
Pee Wee Kirkland, Rucker legend.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say what else he did, but he was a Rucker legend. I'll just leave it at that.
He's a legend. Yeah, he's a legend.
Grew up watching that guy. Okay.
Definitely.
Hearing about him. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. So. Yeah, he has some very interesting comments, which we might hear about more, as more extras and other things come up. And what would you like audiences to learn from Ali's comeback?
He was a man of purpose. He was a man who had a vision. Again, as I stated earlier, he had a lot of things to worry about. It was more than, again, it was just more than boxing. Like, he had to fight to get back into the ring. So before he got into the ring, you know, what I learned was he had been trying for what, over 6 months to a year to try to get back in the ring, and they just kept on like
very short window
turning him down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot to deal with in terms of being tenacious. Like, please understand, to constantly keep hearing no, that does something to a man's soul and his resolve. So the fact that he just said, you know what, all right, I'm just rolling with this punch and I'm gonna just keep going.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's very true. And also something, as was shown in the dramatic part with you and the actress Kelly, who was playing Khalila Ali, of how important it was that he had his wife being so strong in his corner during that whole period. And you guys work off each other very well of showing how she was supportive of him and how she was with him the whole time, through prayer, through helping encourage him, making sure that he gets out there, and that you have to have those people literally in your corner to be able to get that type of thing done.
Yeah, it's people, by today's standards, I don't really think both black men and black women really understand how much we need each other. And I understand the programming that's involved with keeping us at odds with each other. And there's going to be some people watching this that's not going to like what I have to say, but I really don't care. I love my black woman. There's nothing like them.
Nothing like them.
Yeah, she gets on my nerves, but she understands me. We come from the same blueprint. Becky with the good hair, she don't understand. You know, Karen doesn't understand you. She will never understand you. I don't care if she went to 100 Do the Right Thing movies, block parties. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Invited to the cookout.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many cookouts she went to. She'll never understand you. She don't have the minerals, as they say in London. But moving on.
But yes, Khalila definitely had the minerals for Ali. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And Cleopatra Johnson, who was the wife of Senator Leroy Johnson, was with him the whole time. Yes.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. You have to have a strong woman by your side, because even like now, there are times where I go through things and my girl is like, "It'll be okay." And she goes through things and I'll be like, "It'll be okay," and then we just.
How did you get involved in acting?
How did I get involved in acting? My then wife at the time, my ex-wife now, she was working on a play at church, and she was like, "I need your help. Here you go. You've been drafted. Here goes script. You got less than 5 minutes. Chop, chop. Let me see." And went on stage, did a read, got bit by the bug. But I've always been into film. I'm going to say the film that made me want to become an actor is Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee. That film, with the way it's set up, the cinematography, the lighting, the colors, the pacing, the writing, just the characters, it's literally one day broken down into an hour and 30 minutes or 2 hours. Most people, you know, I guess it's a New York thing, but it's had a really strong message to it. So watching that movie definitely made me want to become an actor. Because there were some really strong moments. And acting is all about living. You got to go through some things. You got to be able to take out your experiences. Like I was telling a friend the other day, like, okay, you know, I was doing the August Wilson play, but at the same time, my mom was dying of freaking lung cancer. So I had to use that for 6 nights on stage, crying and stuff like that. That's not easy, but, you know, I don't want to bore you with the rest of that.
Speaking on that, do you have any dramatic inspirations and especially as actors or in front of the screen, that type of thing?
Dramatic?
Yes.
I'm going to say my man, Sam Jackson. I never worked with the man, but I have met him. So, yeah, Samuel Jackson and Lawrence Fishburne.
Okay, and why specifically those two? What makes them inspirations as actors?
They're chameleons. They're chameleons. They can play any role. They can do, because if you think about it, they could do either comedy or they could be the straight guy. Think about that. There's not too many actors that can actually really do that. So I'm not gonna say I will. I pattern myself. I study those guys because they and both of them have a theater background. So I've seen a lot of their work. I've seen them work on stage in person. So I know what to look for, and I watch a lot of this stuff. So it's just those two, strong, type A, strong. I like to, black males. Presence, their presence on stage, on camera, it's right there. It's like me and Sam are the same height. I'm 6'4". So is Larry. They fill up a room.
Exactly. So there's no shrinking, of yourself and of your personality.
Box out. Nigga.
There it is. That's what I'm saying.
Box out.
I was like, I'm here. Now, do you feel that actors, whether they're getting into TV and film, that they should have some kind of stage experience? Because it seems like the better actors who put their work in, whether it be Lawrence Fishburne, Samuel L. Jackson, Denzel Washington, and thinking about Do the Right Thing, Ossie Davis and others, it seems like a stage background makes it so that you're much more flexible and much more versatile in doing any other format.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to tell you why. Because you're constantly in character. You're constantly present. You're not breaking. There is no the director yelling out 10 feet away, cut the camera to the camera and sound people. It's either you better know that. You better know your character, not only the lines, but you better know the story, and you better be really good with improv. So when you're doing theater, you're literally walking a tightrope. And don't mess around and do an August Wilson play, because that is he's a monologue master. Okay, that's like watching another reason why I got into acting is really him also, because he has some really good plays.
Is there a favorite August Wilson play that you like or that you lean towards?
Jitney. I've seen it performed in Atlanta.
I might have been at one of those performances also, because I saw it at the Alliance Theater. That was my first time seeing the Jitney then, and I was very impressed. I was like 3 rows up from the front, and just the performance of how people were working off each other, and the brothers were like, and especially the one jitney driver who kept on saying, it's like, look, I don't want to cause no problems. I don't want to talk about anybody, but so-and-so, and he's always gossiping, saying stuff. And I was just like, okay, this is a different experience.
He was an older gentleman?
Yeah,
gentleman. I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, with an August Wilson play, you're literally getting real Black America. Unfiltered, not watered down. He was never trying to placate to the other side. I'm unapologetically Black is the way that he wrote. This is real life. I love his work.
So what do you think about the cinematic representations that have come out, like with Fences and that's when Ma Rainey's Black Bottom?
I'm gonna catch some flack for this. All right, so let me say this. I've seen Fences on Broadway. The theatrical, the film does nothing for theater. Seeing Viola Davis on stage when she was telling Denzel, I've been standing with you for all these years, in person, and you can actually see the tears and the snot and all that other stuff, the movie does nothing. I saw it. I was 10 rows back. I saw her and Denzel talking, and when the man stepped out, when he came out on stage, the audience gave him a standing ovation. He hadn't said one word yet. For 5 minutes almost. So the play, you can't. The movie's cool because it's film. All right, whatever. But stage, man, there's something about that stage where you just kind of get out there, you work, you face your demons, man.
Now, with that, do you think that there are certain plays that people should leave alone, or should people take a play foundation and try to do something completely different when they adapt them? because to add on to that, like my understanding was that with Fences, he pretty much stuck to the script of being true to what August Wilson wrote.
He did.
But and because of that, you got, like you spoke about, you got something, and I guess it's pretty much nearly impossible to get the stage experience if you're not present. You can watch videotapes of it, you can catch a little bit of it, but it may have fallen short to some people, but I guess if you've seen the play before. So it was like, do you feel people should continue adapting? Because I think it's good for the exposure of his work, but.
I'm going to say this much and I'm going to answer your question.
Yes.
Bro, the fact that I was mad at Denzel for what he did to Viola Davis's character, that's what I learned in college was that suspension of disbelief. You're playing a character, but I'm mad at you in real life as that character. That's how good he was. Camera kind of holds you back. Camera is like, okay, I got even now. I'm on camera. I can't. I know that it's framed a certain way. I can't move too much this way. I can't move too much that way. It's restrictive. But with theater, oh man, you can let your nuts hang, man. you just do whatever. So.
I see, definitely. And what projects are you working on now, or what have you done recently that is out there for people to be able to check out?
The most recent project I actually have a project on Amazon. It's called A Long Walk Home. It's a short film. Co-produced it, and I did the sound for it, and I'm actually in it. I play a detective. A friend of mine, his name is Carlton Davis. He's also an actor. He wrote it, co-produced it, and he's actually acting in it. What I'm working on now, I'm working on a web series where I'm the lead. It's comedic. It's dark humor. The character's name I'm not going to give away just yet.
So where can they possibly find it? Well, it's in development?
It's in development.
Okay.
A friend of mine, she has a channel with another friend where they have over 1 million subscribers. So, with that being said, you got to kind of, I'm not doing this for free. I mean, my kids got to eat. You know, daddy got to put some new, got to get some new shoes. I got to do something. So, it won't be too expensive to film because I got my own gear or whatever. But that's what I'm working on right now. I'm always auditioning, but I'm not going to get on the cheese line.
No, what do you mean by that? Not on the cheese line? Because one thing in conversation and from knowing you is that you work in several different aspects of it, so you stay busy. But you say you don't want to be involved in the cheese line, I guess, or the rat race. Tell us about that.
A good friend of mine told me that busy is bullshit.
Elaborate.
You need to be productive. You need to be productive. Being busy is running in place. Are you making any progress? I have a camera, I shoot, I can edit video, and I have my own sound equipment. So, produce my own skits. Like, I know we had a conversation before, like I was saying, you have some people out here, they chase other actors. Don't chase them. Because those actors that you're chasing, they're a worker just like you are. They're a worker bee. They're in line just like you are. The people that you should get to try to get to know are the producers, the writers, the casting directors. But you have so many people that's concerned about branding, and you ain't got no product. What are you pushing? Okay, you call yourself a drug dealer. Well, where your dope at? You got some good dope? You got a lot of people running around Atlanta with bad dope. I'm not saying I'm the best actor in the world. I don't profess to be, but my grind is I go hard. I got people calling me now. I haven't heard from you for months. That's a great thing. I don't want to talk to you because my neck is always knee deep, or not knee deep, but I'm always working. That's how you're gonna get to where you need to be. Also, building relationships with the people that I just mentioned, the producers, the writers. I have other friends who are just like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Well, why? Because every time I talk to you, you're complaining about these auditions that you got to do. No, find another skill set. Acting is not the only thing I know how to do. I have many different talents, but it's a whole nother conversation.
Very true. So, do you have any final words you'd like to share about Ali's comeback that you would want people to get from seeing the film?
Ali was more than just a boxer. Ali was a civil rights leader with boxing gloves. And most people don't. It's gonna take them a minute for that to really click. You gotta understand, like, this man, you can watch old footage of him going on these different talk shows in black and white footage when he took on the white media. He took them, he was constantly, they would question him, and he always had an educated answer each and every single time. So he was more than just a boxer. He was again, a civil rights leader with boxing gloves. Mm-hmm. And you had to respect him. Mm-hmm. You had no choice because he carried himself like a man. Mm-hmm. He didn't carry himself like a jigaboo. Mm-hmm. You know, there was no jiving around. You know, like how I'm looking at you right now in your eyes. Mm-hmm. Ali had that kind of, if you just watch his interviews, there was no shucking and jiving with him. He had a very, like, piercing stare and stuff like that. He would fool around every now and then, depending on who it was. But other than that, he was all business. All business, and he was always about his people. Mm. You don't have too many celebrities nowadays and not about the community. Not a one. They've been bought and paid for. Not gonna name any names, but if you in the know, you know. So, yeah.
And how can people follow you on social media, online, your other work? How can people get in contact and follow what you're doing?
I'm on Instagram. All right, so it's David Buchanan, NY. That's BUCHANANNY. The NY is for New York, so just think about that. That's where I'm from.
Got it. Well, we'd like to thank you very much, Mr. David Buchanan. It was incredible speaking to you again. We want to thank you for all of your work that you've done with Ali's Comeback and want to support you on all of your future projects. And you can find Ali's Comeback available now on Amazon Prime and several other platforms. This is Daoud Bowling for the Dream Factory podcast. Thank you very much. Good night.